This piece of wood has been sitting here in the shop, tormenting me, teasing me, scaring me for a couple of months now. It comes to us from Dave at Calmwood Creations. He sent this along, like I said, a couple of months ago. He told me that it can be turned. He says it's very brittle. He calls it Desert Ironwood. Now maybe that's normal for a lot of you folks. It's definitely not normal for me. I'm not familiar with it. I don't know what quite to do with it. I've taken it out of the box, set it here where you see it many times, and always put it back in the box and went on to something else because I just couldn't figure out what I wanted to do, but maybe I have. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or as we like to say here at Shady Acres Woodshop, howdy. So I think it's because of the angle that I had such a hard time figuring out what to do with this. So I finally took it over to the bandsaw and I straightened it up some. I did that in hopes that it would help me think it through. I'm not used to thinking things through. People think that I have a good vision. They think I can see a bowl inside of a blank. It's not so. What I do is I figure out a way to hold something, put it up there on the lathe, and just start turning, and whatever happens, happens. In this case, I need to plan it out, because this is not going to be a bowl. This is going to be, I hope, a Emerging Goblet. I'm not a goblet maker. I'm not a spindle turner. But I'm going to give it a try. It's 5 inches tall and about 3 inches at the widest point. And so I've drilled a hole where I believe is the center point of the widest part down here. I've also marked what I think is the widest point down here. I don't know how it's going to line up once I get it on the lathe. I may be way off down here. The reason I did the widest point is because I want to put a tenon on the bottom of this. So I've drilled the hole for my woodworm screw. We'll take it over here to the lathe, get it mounted up, create a tenon on the bottom, turn it around, and try and make an emerging goblet. Stand by. Now normally I have all the confidence in the world in the woodworm screw, but like Dave said, this is brittle wood and I'm not sure that those threads are going to hold. To be honest, it doesn't, it's really hard to turn on, but it doesn't really feel like it's made a nice tight fit. It looks good. I don't know. I am going to, of course, have tailstock support for a while. Okay, well, I have confidence that it'll stay put at this point. So now I'm going to make a tenon on the bottom. We'll just mark out for that approximate size. It actually needs to be smaller than this, but this just gives me something to go by. It doesn't give me a very wide rim for this to set on once it's all said and done, if we ever get to the point where it's all said and done, which I kind of have my doubts. Let me get my mask and face shield on, grab some kind of a gouge, and put a tenon on here. Well, I decided to go a different way with this. I'm going to see if it's even turnable at all. Dave says it is, and I believe him, but I'm the one doing it, and I'm not so sure. The way this grain looks, it seems to me that if I touch a chisel here, that, you know, it's going to peel right off along one of those grain lines, and maybe the whole thing is just going to blow up. I have no idea. It just doesn't look stable to me. It's off balance. I do have it turning at 900 RPM, so I'm going to work on this area up here. I don't really want to go much below this, but I think if I take some of this off of here, it might come more into balance. I don't know. That's my goal. So I'm just going to work it away with a shallow spindle gouge, and my plan is to create a bowl for the main part of the goblet, and then just a real short stem, and leave the rest of this all natural. Who knows? I have no clue if it's going to work. I'm thinking this is just going to hurt. Well, we're getting there, man. Scary stuff. The wood's taking on kind of a reddish color down here. Here it looks like walnut, but this looks more like, I don't know what, something red. Well, the goal was to see if it's turnable, and apparently it's turnable. I'm getting down here to my chuck jaws, so I guess I need to work on a tenon. I decided I'm going to try this detail tool to work on my tenon because I don't have much room for a base. Now this circle that I drew is about 2 1/8 of an inch, and I need about 1 7/8 of an inch. So I'm going to come just inside that circle. Hopefully that'll leave me enough base around here to set on, but I probably won't be able to use this the whole time. It's just fun, isn't it? I wonder if I can pick the speed up any. Yeah, we'll try it there, 1300. It's still out of balance, but it's more in balance than it was. It still could blow up, so stand back. Getting real close over here, aren't I? And it has to be wider than that. My jaws take up more room than this little groove that I made. I don't know what other tool I could use. A parting tool, I guess. That might work. Yeah, I guess I feel like that's wide enough. Let's see if we can't get this turned around. Well, I guess I decided to go with a standard spindle gouge, which I'm really uncomfortable with. Hate using it. But I think I need to make this smaller. I think I need to take the goblet walls, the outside walls, down at least as low as this, and at least as low as this. I think it needs to be a nicely finished goblet, if I'm capable of such a thing, and then all of the natural roughness down here. But I still have to put a stem in here. I said I'd probably make the bowl of the goblet about 1.5 inches. That's about here. Seems really small, but you know, I don't want to go down into this too much. And then I don't know how I'm going to get in here and work the stem. That's my problem, not yours. So let me get my mask and face shield back on and we'll try and do something. You can see the potential there, can't you? I think I'm going to switch to carbide because I just can't. I mean, it's dull, and it was super sharp to start with. This, I guess. I don't know if that's a very good goblet shape. See, this is why this is hard. This is hard stuff. Trying to figure out a design. I don't know how you folks do that. It's just not my bag. Well, I can see I'm going to have to come way down here to make a stem, but maybe we should hollow this out, or maybe I should finish this up. It's so hard to control this little bitty cutter and get a smooth surface. Maybe I need to go sharpen up my spindle gouge and try that. I don't know. I know, you're all just sitting out there laughing at me. Well, I went with sharpen up the spindle gouge. Yeah, I don't want to get any smaller. We're just going to leave the natural defects. They're not too obtrusive. So I guess we should hollow it out. And how we're going to do that? We're going to drill it, or we're going to use carbide. I could go either way. We'll try carbide. Gotta go much deeper. There's so many little hairline cracks. I'm afraid of heating it up too much. I'm going to turn in reverse for a minute because I can see that side better than I can see this side. Okay, I think we can live with that. It'll look more like a goblet once we get the stem in there. At least I'm counting on it. I know you're supposed to sand and finish before you get to the stem, but I'm still gonna work on this right now and get it down towards the stem size, but not stem size because I don't want it wobbling around. But obviously I'm going to come out this far, so I might as well kind of take it down and start getting down there to where the stem might be one day. Well, so far so good, but you know, I could ruin it any second now. Boy, that is some pretty wood, right? Wow. Wonder what kind it is. Don't say ironwood. An ironwood tree. I don't think so. Now, of course, we're not done turning, and I intend to sand and finish the bowl part of this. I still have to turn a stem, but I'm going to sand the bark. I guess, well, I don't know if that's bark or what it is. I'm going to sand the unturned part, and I'm going to do that with my Sandoflex, and I'm going to do that before I sand anything else. So let me get my mask on. I'll show you how that's going to work as soon as I figure it out myself. We'll try sanding while it's spinning. Yeah, that's much better. It feels smooth with lots of texture, which is nice. It's a good feel. And I don't feel anything sharp anymore, but it still looks just like it did. Okay, so now I'm gonna switch to sanding this, and I'm just gonna use strip sandpaper. And I'm gonna have to be really careful because there's so many hairline cracks in here, lots of them. So I don't want to heat this up and make it worse, although it is very, very dry. Maybe I couldn't do any damage to it if I wanted to, I don't know. I'm going to start with 120 grit on in reverse, and we'll turn it about 350. So that's what it's going to look like, and I'll work up through at least 400. I'll most likely go a little finer than that, but we'll see what 400 looks like. And yes, I have a lot more to do. So I'll see you back here when it's time to put some finish on. So I'm applying sanding sealer, as I often do, and the wood is so hard and so smooth that I'm sure one coat's gonna do it. And then I'll put a coat or two of shellac on over that, probably 2 coats. And then we'll work on the stem. So it won't be long now. I'll see you back here when it's time to start turning the stem. I went with 1 coat of sanding sealer, 2 coats of shellac, and then I rubbed it out with Gary's sanding paste. And it's just smooth as silk. And it's a great looking color, great looking wood. I don't know what it is. Kind of looks a little like rosewood, but I don't know. So I've installed a soft touch on my live center, and I'm just going to put a piece of paper towel in here for padding. This isn't doing any driving, this is just providing support. Might have too much paper towel there. I don't want to break this apart. Yeah, there we go. So that's just going to rotate. I'll apply just a little bit of pressure from this end. Then I'm going to go ahead and stick with the carbide tip tool just to work this down and create some sort of a stem for this. In my opinion, how this and the stem and this blend together are so important, and I don't know how to do it so that it looks good. Anyway, mask and face shield on and turning at about 1200 RPM, and we'll just work on that stem. It'll be much smaller than that. I'm just trying to figure it out. I don't know. Maybe I should go look at a wine glass or something. at a few wine glasses, and some of them are like this, where it just, well, this tapers down a little further, but then it just comes straight down, nothing there. And then I found one that has a little, not exactly a bead, but that's kind of what I'm going to aim for. So I'm going to actually come back up here a ways and see if I can't create some sort of a bead for a transition between the bottom of the goblet part and the stem. And I don't know the difference between a goblet and a wine glass. I don't know if there is a difference, but anyway, that's what I'm going to be doing. And the paper towel looks like it might be hitting this, so we might hear tick, tick, tick or something. I don't know. I think I'm done. Does that look good? God, I wish you guys were here. Come on, answer back. No, it's ugly. Hey, looks really good, Phil. Don't humor me, be honest. Well, it's just the best I can do, that's all. This is just driving me nuts. I'm gonna have a heart attack, and then how you gonna feel? That's right. Oh, and then, I know what you're thinking. How's he gonna get that tenon off? Don't ask me. Don't ask me. No idea. All right, well, I guess I need to clean up my mess, blend the sanding here, sand all of this, and make it look like that. Actually, with this, I wasn't gonna do this like this is. I was gonna put a finish on there, but I wasn't gonna get a, I wasn't gonna do this. I wasn't gonna rub out the finish and make it perfect, because I wanted a gradual blend from rough to kind of finished to really finished. I don't know if that makes sense or if it's even a good idea. So I'll be cleaning up my mess and see you back here in a little bit. Well, here's what I'm thinking. I told you I thought maybe this should be not as finished as this is. So I'm going to start sanding at 80 grit, because I have this one tool mark in here, and the reason I have it is because as I held the gouge up here, it's getting bumped, bump, 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 and it's just too hard to not have a tool mark. So I have a tool mark here somewhere, right there. So I'm going to start sanding at 80 grit to get rid of that tool mark, and I'm probably only going to sand up to about 150, maybe 180 on this top part. That's where I'm going to stop and just put finish on there like I did on here, but it won't be as polished as this is. Maybe I won't apply Gary's sanding paste on top of this. So it'll be slightly duller. It'll still be finished nice. It'll look nice. But it'll be a gradual progression from this to this to this. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know if it's going to look good or not. So 2-inch sanding disc, 80 grit, up through 150, 180. I'll just have to see what it looks like. So I'll do that, and then I'll take my strip sandpaper and sand the stem where I had to blend it together here, and my little bead. I'll use strip sandpaper like on all that, and I'll take the stem and everything else up through 2400, I think is what I stopped at before. So this will all be polished and nice, and this will be slightly less polished. So I'll see you back here when it's time to put some finish on. And then how to apply it to the goblet part, where I already have the sanding paste on there. I guess I got it. Boy, it was really hard to sand this little stem part with the sandpaper, because it kept knocking my knuckles on here. Real hard to get it in there. But I did. Oh, and I sanded this to 240, a little bit further than I thought I would go. I think I may have made the stem too long to look good, to look like an emerging piece. I suppose I'm making too big a deal out of this whole thing. It's just that it's such a cool piece of wood. I wanted to do my very best with it. And I just don't know. I don't know if I did my very best. I think I did. I think I did my very best. Certainly not the very best someone else could do. You spindle turners have my utmost respect. Yeah, this was the right thing to do. This brings out grain that you can't see without putting something on it. Yep, this was the right thing to do. Looks way cool. I'm not sure if you can see it all. Okay, well, you don't want to watch all this. I'll bring you back when it's time to take that tenon off. Oh man, still got to figure that out. See you in a bit. At this point, I'm not sure I even want to talk about this thing. I don't know that I love it. The wood is absolutely gorgeous. No doubt about that. It's gorgeous, but I'm not sure I love what I've done with it. So we'll just see. So this is what I have to remove, is this center part. I don't have to remove it completely. I just have to move it, get rid of enough so that the center, this 2-inch piece, is below the rim that it's going to set on. So now we're going to take our live center from the tailstock, and we're just going to tighten up these jaws some. Poke it in there, bend it over, and now there's a little bit of play in it, but that shouldn't hurt. Once it's moving, it'll find its way. It should be okay, and this isn't going to go flying out of there. So that's good. So then we're going to bring up the tailstock. I've installed an old live center. So I'm going to put that over that, and this over that, and bring up the live center. You probably can't see that. I don't know if I'm zoomed in or what. Okay, you can barely see it. So I still have my hole there, and I'll just bring my live center into that, apply some pressure. Not too much pressure because of these hairline cracks in this thing. So, I hope this is going to work. I hope I am a genius, but maybe I'm not. I don't know. I'm going to have to be really gentle. I don't want to snap that stem. I don't want to crack this thing. I'm just going to have to really take it easy. We'll try the carbide. I'm just trying to clean up my tool marks here. I'm going to sand this over here on the workbench. Let me check for clearance. Yeah, I got clearance. That nub is pretty small. I can probably chisel that off. So I will stop. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to hold this so that I can chisel it. I'm not sure I'm even going to show you the chiseling off part. If I can figure out a good solid way to hold it, I will. Hold on. I'm just barely squeezing this in here because this bark is so, or the wood, whatever this is, the outside is so brittle and delicate. Okay, so that's good enough. I can sand that. So just to remind you, this is what it looked like in the beginning. And this is about that same view, I guess, something like that. That's what it looks like now. As I said, the wood is just gorgeous. The wood is phenomenal. And I achieved a good finish on it. I'll give myself that. It's a really, really nice finish. 1 coat of sanding sealer, 2 coats of shellac. There's the bottom. I don't know if you can read what I wrote. It's black on dark brown, so probably not much, but anyway. It says my name, and then it says Desert Ironwood. It's a pretty piece, but it's just not what I had in mind. I don't know. That's my opinion. What's yours? I hope you like it. If you like this video, thumbs up please. I'd sure appreciate it. If you're a subscriber, thank you very kindly. I truly appreciate that. If you're not a subscriber, you might consider becoming one. I put out regular videos about one a week, and I'd like to keep in touch. Your comments are always welcome, and I respond to all of them. So for now, this is Phil, Shady Acres Woodshop, signing off.